Hey, welcome to More Than Just Trucks podcast. I'm your host, Ray Clarke. And today with me, I have Justin Clarke, no relation. He's got an E on the end of his. And Justin is CEO, co-founder of F-Staff and another great foundation, but I don't want to steal any of the highlight because I think he's got some really good things going on, and I'll let him introduce himself to you guys.
Ray, it is such a pleasure to be with you today. Happy Friday. Yeah, I'm Justin Clarke. I am here with you today because I've been in the trucking industry myself too for the last 25 years. I'm the co-founder and CEO of an on-demand truck driver staffing platform called F-Staff, formerly known as Contracted Driver Services, hailing all the way from sunny Arizona today.
Yeah, nice. Hey, well, welcome to the show. And you say Arizona, like when I look out, we've got warm weather. It's in the 20s. Like
Oh
there's
yeah.
so how go sideways here. How were you with the weather that came up through here like a few weeks back? Did you
You
guys
know,
get any of that?
Yeah, so we've got drivers all over the country dealing with weather all the time. So it just depends on, which pockets are having the most issues. But we definitely had some customers that haul a lot of mail up in the northern northeast that have had probably the worst storms that they had seen in decades, right? So
Yeah.
definitely affected travel, it affected trucking, affected shipping. I actually had a couple of family members asking, like, where's my thing that I ordered online? And I go, it's stuck in Dallas right now. It's going to go in a couple of days. Just give it a second, right? Everything's frozen over. You haven't seen the weather, but
Exactly.
people never realize that the weather affects transportation. Probably more so than anything else can affect our industry, right? We can't plan for the weather. The storms just come through.
If you got a crystal ball to do that, that's like, as a service manager in my history and my career, I had a salesman come to me and said, well, you got to schedule our customers better. And I
Hmm.
said, when I can schedule a breakdown and crystal ball that, you know what? I won't be sitting in this manager seat.
Right? He's like,
Yeah.
all you know is stuff does break, and then we fix it.
Yeah. So you
Right?
guys, when you say that, like you staff like across the states, correct?
We do, yeah. We've had drivers in about 25 markets so far. We've got a pretty great heavy presence in about 10 markets, mostly across the South. We started in Phoenix, grew to Dallas, LA, and then after that, it started to just kind of come across the South and move up north. But we do have, pockets of drivers, maybe let's say smaller pockets in some areas that are a little bit more remote or less known to us, usually driven by customer demand.
Yeah.
Customers might need us in a certain area for just a set amount of time. But yeah, we provide truck drivers. Gosh, I would say if you buy it or use it in construction, or it needs to be shipped or delivered, over the last 25 years, we have hauled just so many different types of products, right? It's just hard to imagine everything that gets moved, right? But everything in our lives is moved by a truck, and that's why we really live with the mantra here that truckers drive everything, because everything that we need to live our lives is hauled by a professional truck driver. Whether it starts on a boat, hits a train, it's going to hit a truck before it gets to you. And so we've got like the utmost respect for truck drivers and making sure that we do what we can to help them find work on demand.
Man, we are so similar and the same page. I'm telling you, like that is you about literally word for word take what I preach when we talk about diesel technicians. Like if it comes off a boat, a train, ship, whatever be the case, right? It's on a truck and those truck tires got to roll down the highways. Like,
You bet.
and the other thing that I'm promoting right now, and you probably can attest to this, is I don't think anytime soon, and I know in your case with drivers, but AI is not going to replace a diesel technician to repair a truck or a
No,
robot.
No, what it's going to do, it's going to help you guys, right? It'll help diesel technicians become more proficient. It's going to help train. I don't know if you've seen any of the cool AI tech glasses that they can use
Oh yeah.
to do the training, right, for the drivers and or for your diesel tech. So
Yep.
while they're underneath, I mean, it's hard to get two human beings, in the same position, being able to identify a part underneath a truck, right? And so when
Exactly.
you can use some of the new technologies that they have available to help on the training side, I love that. Augmentation. I always tell people, like, so I'm a heavy believer believer in the future of tech and how it's going to help our futures. So I'm really warmed up, and I would say for many years I have been warmed up to these ideas. But as I've been playing with it, it's really all about human in the loop design. Those are the ones that work the
Yeah.
best, right? So
Yep.
there's always going to be a human in the loop. That's going to be, part of that process, at least for many decades in the future. You see it in the trucking industry on the diesel tech side. I see it on the trucking automation side, and
Correct.
we get that all the time. What are you going to do when all the trucks are autonomous running down the road? And I go,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? We're not worried about that because there's always going to be a human in the loop design, right? So even if we have autonomous trucks, there's going to be a position where the truck gets to a final destination and there's a blue Honda Civic in the way that this truck couldn't have imagined, right? And we need a human in the loop design so that we can either move the blue Honda or get a human in the truck to pick and choose a new location for
Yeah.
that truck. Whether that's off site, right, doing that remotely, or whether that's on site, physically moving the truck. But I absolutely believe that we're just going to keep advancing as human beings, right? And like the nail gun helped the carpenter.
Yeah.
The AI is going to be
Perfect.
helping promote a faster delivery of goods and services, which is what I think the consumer is demanding every single day.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's great analogy with that. It really is. Like you said, a lot of the young kids come in and and do you see that? Like you spoke of that, right? I mean, are
I
you
did.
hearing, right? You're hearing it.
I mean, I don't. So I have high school age kids. I don't hear any of these kids talking about wanting to be a truck driver
I
still.
know. It's
You
just,
know?
yeah.
It
And
doesn't happen. And I
it's not
talked about, I
like you
said, when
started.
when the kids feel like the trucks are going to be accommodating the lifestyles that they want, and man, maybe it's the gamers of the future really are the ones that I'm looking for because they need to be able to be trained, obviously, to stay focused on the road. But there's a lot more things that they're going to need to pay attention to in digital displays and gauges and other things, right? And so while we think of a truck driver, just driving down the road, right? We want our drivers knowing, hey, what's the temperature of the trailer right now? What do the brakes look like? Is there any mechanical issues that we need to be worried about while we're going down the road? Any preventative care, preventative maintenance, any of that stuff that we can deliver to the driver in the truck so that we can have a safe delivery, right? Like
Yep.
like all of
Yep.
us want in the end. So I think we're not there yet, right?
Right.
I've continued to see the trucking designs, and the new truck designs are still designed around comfort, right? And efficiency, right? Meaning that it's about fuel efficiency and delivering what the trucking company wants, and not really much more than design comfort, inside of the cab. We're not really designing it for the future truck driver, right?
Well,
So
there's one cool thing with Freightliner is they have what's called a mirrorless truck. And
yes.
I know I'm sure several OEMs out there going with that, but camera systems, OEMs doing the mirrorless, kind
Hmm.
of, and
Absolutely.
you have been in business just a few slim years, right? I mean,
Just a couple, 25 years old now, right?
25
Yeah.
years.
Hmm.
Congratulations to that,
Thank you.
right?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, you take day one, week one, month one, year one, 25 years later, man, what have been the challenges over the years? Because I know we talk in the diesel world right now with technicians, and they're the lack of. I've heard the
Hmm.
same thing for drivers. Is it still prevalent that you're struggling to fill those seats?
Everybody's going to continue to struggle to fill human seats, right? I think that's going to continue to be an issue because candidates always have this idea lately that the grass is always greener and there's some other better place for them. So you really don't see the dedicated 25-year veterans anymore that are going to stick to something for that long, right? And really make a career out of it. They make a career out of a driver position, right? And that's what they
Yep.
see their career as. And you don't see these old yellow drivers that have been here for 30 years, right?
Right.
Anymore. It just
Right.
doesn't happen as much. So I think, we need to adapt to the future. As industry veterans, we can't be stuck in the mud and saying, God, it was way better before, right? I think that there's so many things that are much better today than they were before. I mean,
Right.
we were on paper dispatch sheets, right? I mean, everything was, hand delivered and really hard to manage because of the lack of detail and data and all that stuff, right? Now we live in a world of data, right? Like
Yeah.
we
Digital
struggle to
world.
leverage. Yeah, we struggle to leverage all of our data is our problem. It's like we have so much data we don't know what to do with, and we have a hard time putting it all together, you know.
Yep.
But I think that, you know, again, yeah, getting back to the question of you know, let's say truck driver shortage and or, you know, issues of filling these roles. I think that, yeah, I think we're going to continue to adapt, and you're going to see more workers interested in on-demand work. That's really kind of how we've pushed our future into an ecosystem allowing for workers to pick and choose the work that they want when they want to work. They're given more of that opportunity to act like a small entrepreneur,
Right.
right? They can, you know, kind of deliver for their family the amount of income that they want when they want, but they have the freedom to move with their family if they want to. We've got drivers that work in, you know, let's say they work in Chicago area in the summertime because they've got family, and they got, you know, work up there, and they've got another place in Phoenix. They come down in the winter and they drive down here in the winter, you know. So you've
Yeah.
even got some old school guys, and I'm talking about like, you know, 65, 75-year-old drivers that are adapting to that kind of future, right? So I think that as the world changes, we keep changing with it, you know.
Yeah.
And we worked from, you know, the last 25 years from a place of 100% um, analog model on paper, right? Everything was
Right.
on paper. Truck driver applications were on paper. Our invoices to customers on paper. Timesheets every week were on paper. Matter of fact, triplicate copies of timesheets on paper. I had
Yeah.
paper flying everywhere. I had to create all these different processes and storage facilities to be able to just manage our paper. So we were probably one of the first to move towards a digital environment. One
Nice.
of the first early adopters of an applicant tracking system, so that we didn't have to have you know, drivers go through you know, handwritten, hand cramping
Right.
environment of writing the application. So we've seen a lot of change, and I think we're probably ready to start over the next 2 decades. See the biggest change that I mean, AI is going to
Yeah.
absolutely be a game changer in so many ways, and it's also going to be very disruptive in a lot of ways, which, you know, I get excited about because I am a disruptor, right? So I like when things are disruptive. I think that there's a lot of opportunity when there's a lot of disruption. For others, though, disruption can mean anxiety, fear, you know, scarcity, limitations, you know, worry, and that adds stress to the family dynamic, and that adds stress to
Yeah.
the community dynamic, and all of it downstream, right? So I think that the more we can be talking about this adaptation and how we can help individuals, you know, really work through the changes of the future, so that they can get to that next advancement in 20 years future. It's going to be like we went through, you know, in the late 90s into the digital age, right?
Right.
We're going to now be
Right.
going into the artificial intelligence age, which we haven't even, you know, really crossed the surface of yet. It's just barely, you know, coming into the world of consummation, where we can actually use the tool. We know, you know, it's fast, it's easy, because as human beings, we're pretty, I don't know, we quit pretty fast, right? So if it's
Right.
not fast
Yeah.
and easy, you know, we're not going to do
Yep.
it. So
Yep.
yeah, that's what's going on. But it's, you know, 25 years in, I wanted to just kind of recognize a couple of highlights for us. You know, first of all, it's Wear Red Day today, and that always reminds me of our affiliation with a group called Women in Trucking.
Yes.
So if anybody's affiliated with Ellen's group, Women in Trucking, what a great foundation that they provide, you know, support for women drivers up and coming, and drivers in need. So today's the National Wear Red Day, and I'm thinking about all the women that we have. And actually, as a company, we've seen a single and double digit increase year over year of women drivers that work for us than when we started 25 years ago. So there are absolutely more women coming into the industry than I've ever seen. And
Yes.
based on our stats so far, they make fantastic truck drivers, and maybe even safer than the men on the road, right?
I,
So
I
excited to see that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things, so I've heard you talk about high school and honestly the kind of the struggle of getting drivers in those seats and stuff. Well, how far connected are you with high schools? Are you pretty adamant about staying involved or getting involved with high schools?
I have not. As an organization, our customers really force us to hire drivers that have experience.
Right.
So
Okay.
we do. I like to speak on these things, you know, on topics inside of the industry, but have not found a huge passion for, you know, driving that inside of the high schools. But I do have some friends that are.
Yeah.
And the friends that I talk to, they are trying to move maybe like the virtual environments, the modules that they have that teach you how to drive a truck, moving those into a mobile unit to get them on site at the high schools so that the high schoolers can start to actually see what it's like to drive a truck.
Exactly.
And then also, like I mentioned, making it cool and feel like a video game.
Yep.
And I think that would help them kind of really move into that future. And there's also out here in Arizona, and I'm not sure, I think nationally, there's to start to see this new presence of industrial schools popping up, right?
Good.
Working on this, like teaching kids that it's not, 4-year university degree isn't the pathway for all students. And I'm really excited about a group here in Arizona called WestMech that has these industrial schools popping up, and they're teaching welding, they're teaching physical therapy, they're teaching any hands-on, skills that the students can now take on to their futures, whether it goes directly into work or maybe into another secondary education program. But I think trucking is an absolute
Yes.
add-on for those
Yep.
schools, and I don't think that they've hit it yet. That's probably a conversation that my friends that have businesses that are trucking schools don't want me to have with those schools, because they're very protective over making sure that those schools stay tight niche. But honestly, more drivers on the road that are professionally trained is going to be better. So I think that the more we can get high schoolers into those environments, the better. So
Yeah.
I'm with you.
We're seeing a lot more, and it's attendance is a problem, but I'm seeing more drive for the CTEs with, like you said, the diesel mechanics, the drivers, the wood shop, the metal shop, into nursing, healthcare, all of that, even IT. So yeah, it's like now you've got a current campaign running, don't you, for drivers?
Yeah,
Kindness.
actually, well, yeah, we have a kindness campaign. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. This
Yeah.
week, actually, we're starting to get them all out in the mail because in about a week and a half, on February 17th, it is National Random Acts of Kindness Day. And as a company, we focus on truck drivers. So we have a specific Random Acts of Kindness for trucking companies that's going out. I have a really great friend of mine, Dr. Gina Anderson. She has a company called Luma Learning, and she just recently wrote a book called Thrive, and we're including her book called Thrive into this package. We are also including a children's book from our foundation, the Honey Foundation, in the package. And we're including some more information about kindness for truckers, because what we found really is that kind cultures really create more profits, and they create a better environment for everybody around, right? So
Yeah,
as leaders of
definitely.
organizations, I think that if we can just be conscious of that, we can inject the right types of things into our culture that end up ultimately improving our businesses all the way downstream. Yeah, it's a great week to focus on kindness. And if anybody wants to learn more about that, they can go to beekindtoday.org and get some information about Random Acts of Kindness and getting education for your corporation or your schools in your communities. Because we do believe that teaching kindness is something that never really ages out. We can work on kindness education blocks for corporations with adults of all ages. And we also have education that goes all the way down to the earliest learners with our children's books that start off, really like the first readers, so they can start getting kindness into the brain out the gate.
I was going to say, let's be honest, right? Kindness can be at any age, right? I mean, from an infant up through to adulthood for sure. Perfect segue. Tell the listeners about your foundation and kind of how that started and where you're at today with it. Because honestly, man, same thing, right? So kind of the pay it forward kindness acts and stuff. Even myself, kind of for the past year, some life events in myself, it's like, you know what? Life is definitely too short to be have grudges, to be kind of upset about stuff, and paying things forward. Definitely, I've seen a lot of that. So tell the listeners a little bit more of kind of where
Sure.
that foundation has gone.
Yeah, it's a passionate project for my wife and I. That stems from a beautiful relationship with my identical twin brother, Scott. We started this company as 19-year-olds, and we worked on growing the business together. We bought our first house together. We had a really, really great, close relationship. And sadly, Scott passed away in 2011. and really kind of left us with a voice of kindness. So I'll tell you the story of kind of how we ended up getting to his passion for kindness. So about a month prior to his passing, my mom went to Starbucks and she went to get a coffee, I think a chai latte. And when she went to pay for it, the barista said, "Thanks, but your coffee's already paid for," and then handed her a red rose. And she was like, "Wow, this is amazing." And so while she's beaming, waiting for her coffee to get made, she goes, asks the person that's making the drink. She says, "I've never had something like this happen to me." She goes, "You know who did this?" And they go, "Yeah, it's a guy in the community. He comes in here quite a bit. His name's Scott Clarke." And she says, "That's my son." And so she's getting this random act of kindness coming from her own son, and then she's calling Scott saying thank you. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing experience. And then she's calling me, telling me about this experience, and then I'm calling Scott, telling him, "Way to make me look like son of the year, right? You're pretty remarkable individual, right?" So Scott was a very very passionate guy about doing things for others. And he was very altruistic, and he was not braggadocious at all about what he did. As a matter of fact, we only learned of this story about him doing these acts of kindness because my mom accidentally happened to be at the location that he had performed this. So as the story goes, he would bring about 250 red roses in every Mother's Day, and enough cash to cover all of the coffees that would inspire the pay it forward for the day. And our mom happened to be there on, I think, year 4 that he was doing that. So
Wow.
it was an amazing thing, and I was touched by it. And then it was really only about maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks after that Scott had passed tragically. And so through that grief, and just thinking about my brother, I decided to share that story of his in his eulogy. That then inspired a group of his friends to pay it forward on Father's Day in the same fashion that he had just a couple months before. And
That's
so
awesome.
it was, yeah, uplifting like you wouldn't believe. And then my wife and I were really moved by that and wanted to continue to inspire more acts of kindness and keep Scott's legacy moving forward, as I'm sure he would want from the heavens above. And so we created a foundation called the Honey Foundation with the tag "Just Because." And it was really just a foundation of kindness. We would encourage people to be kind, and we would create a place to share random acts of kindness. That then spawned into schools asking us to engage with them. We then created a random act of kindness education block for the schools to pilot with our friendship with Gina Anderson at Luma. And then we saw a 51% decrease in disciplinary action at the schools that we participated with and had our pilot programs running. Then we expanded our programs out to more states. I think about 10 or 11 states so far have had a school with our Honey Foundation Kindness education blocks running in, and continuing to see 50% decrease in disciplinary action at school when we have that. And we have continued to just be moved with kindness. We as a foundation raise money to spread kindness, awareness, education, and specifically our children's books. We like to give those away as far as we can. So far, the books have made them all the way to a new school in Kenya to some students who had never had a book in their lives
Wow.
before. So that's really special, and we're going to continue to find places to push our books and our message and our words of kindness. And today, again, talking to you on the trucking side, having an affiliation there, it's really neat that we can have a way to put kindness into our trucking companies now
Yeah.
intentionally.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So I've got a note here, and it says the honeybee stickers.
Honeybee stickers. Yeah, we have stickers that we give out with our random act of kindness days. So on Mother's Day and Father's Day, the foundation continues to keep Scott's mission of paying it forward together. Usually we have about 20 to 30 different coffee stores in Arizona and in other states that participate with this Pay It Forward program. And what we do is we get sponsors to pay for the store as a sponsor. We put the sponsor's logo saying this Pay It Forward project is sponsored by. It could be F staff or somebody, any business. And then the coffee stores use our prepaid gift cards to give out coffees all day to either a mother on Mother's Day or fathers on Father's Day. And then they include a sticker that we give to them that encourages them to, remember that really kindness is the thing we all want to keep forward in our
Yeah.
lives, right? And then our stickers have a QR code that allow for the individual to continue to share and post acts of kindness that are either created by them or to them to inspire more people to read more stories of kindness and inspire more kindness in their lives. Because you start to think about it, writing down all the things I want to do to be kind. It's tough to keep going on the list past about 25 things that you can come up with. But there's already 52 weeks in a year. So if you were just going to have a mission of doing one nice thing a year, you're going to run out of ideas. So
Yeah.
again, our foundation is really about inspiring kindness, giving ideas of kindness, and allowing for individuals to post their unique ideas of kindness so that it can, again, inspire more in direct communities or places all over the world.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you've tied that into your campaign with the drivers and everything too. So
We do.
that's kind of like, that's awesome. So you are sending books to, you said 10 different states, I believe. Is that what you said? You're
Right
hitting
now, so we have, as far as our education, our kindness education has been in 10 different schools in
10
10
different
different
schools.
states.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And so influencing thousands of students. My wife and I have done some assemblies here in Arizona where we will inspire a kindness day or a mission of kindness with a specific school. But really, we want to inspire kindness in any organization, any community. Because we found that it's one of the things that can really tie everyone together. There is so much division in the world today, right? We see so many things that we aren't similar in, and that's where we divide ourselves, away from each other. But realistically, like there are so many commonalities that we share that people really, I think, can pay attention to a little bit more. And if they did that, we'd have more connected communities, right? Happier people,
Yep.
less stress, all
Yeah.
good things, right? And we have
Yeah.
actually found we have scientific proof that actually backs this stuff up, Ray, that you do get lower blood pressure. The more acts of kindness that you do, the lower blood pressure that you have. The higher levels of cortisol that you have, you are happier in nature, right? So there are real benefits to being kind. And so I tell people, I go, be selfish with your acts of kindness. You don't need to do it because you're being a good person. I just do it because you're selfish, and tell people I do kind things for me because it's good for me.
Yeah,
And you
just
can
gonna
start
say
there, right?
the medical aspect of that itself, right? I mean, in their transportation world, right? How many people are just twisted and wound up tight? Like
Mm-hmm.
a truck breaks down. I don't have a driver sitting in a lounge waiting for the truck to he's now in the hotel. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
ton of benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of my notes here real quick. Specific results you've kind of given it, you've seen in schools. Like, I mean, what else do you got with the? So if I'm Ralph out of the blue here and I want to know more about the Honey Foundation, where do I go and find this?
You bet. Yeah. So we've got two websites, both go to the same place, but bekindtoday.org or honeyfoundation.org. And if you do a search on our site for Kindness for Truckers, you can find some information about the Kindness for Truckers block that's available. And we can kind of get you the information to get it inside of your organization. The kindness is delivered again with Luma learning support, and it allows us to get it to you digitally, right? So you can deliver this to people's phones or computers, any device that you would want to teach the kindness first. And then really just it's all about action. I tell people kindness is a verb. Webster's got it wrong. If you look it up, it says kindness is a noun. And I'm like, it's not. Kindness is a verb. It's an action. It's something that we
Yeah.
do. It's not something
So
that was done. And so that's why I kind of try to remind people, like, once you learn about kindness and it sits in your heart, now just acting it out, right? Just doing the nice things. It could be smiling at a stranger, opening a door, picking up a piece of trash in your community, absolutely anything. It does not have to be, something that's a nominal value, right? We can choose to be kind in so many different ways. It's absolutely incredible. So I think once people start practicing the habit of kindness, it just nurtures inside of you, nurtures inside of your family, nurtures inside of your neighborhoods, right? And so it does. It starts with us. We have to choose to be kind ourselves. and then it just absolutely ripples out of us and into everybody else that we touch. So yeah, we're happy about that, and really just happy to be here with you celebrating again F-Staff's 25th anniversary too.
Nice.
That's a remarkable milestone. We have hired generally about 1,000 drivers every single year, so that puts us at 20,000 plus drivers that we've hired. Going all the way back to the first driver hired, Vincent Ambrosino, right? And so I've got a lot
Hats
of
off.
history. Hats off to Vincent,
Yes.
and your work with Arizona Wholesale that we set you up with back in 2001. But yeah, absolutely excited about kind of the state of the industry and where things are headed. I think that the last couple of years, the industry has really gone through a lot of hurdles and heartaches and some trauma.
Yes,
Now we've
very
got
much.
some good I think tailwinds behind us now, and the industry I think is going to see some really really good days ahead.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for today's show, and hats off to you, your wife, the foundation, everything that you guys are doing. Like I said, man, I've done, like always, I do some research on my the people that I get into these podcasts. I'm not out here, like I said, to make a name for myself. I'm not a YouTube fan, kind of, hey, watch me type of guy. But I think both of us, when after talking to you even more, and we share that passion of the industry, like and I love the fact that you add the extra of paying it forward and the kindness into it. So again, hats off to you and your wife, and keeping that foundation going. So that is cool to me. I want to reflect back on one thing that you mentioned before we go. It's a pet peeve of mine, and you talked about opening doors for others. I, by no means, am a young lad, and to this day, I don't care if I'm in a mall, a restaurant, a hotel hallway, anything. I am constantly holding doors, and still to this day amazed by the ones that don't even acknowledge you or say thank you. And I'm just like, you're welcome. I'm glad, I'm glad. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that is one of because that takes so little effort. To your point of just being kind, it takes so little effort. And, I'll hold a door for kids even, right? Coming in behind me.
Absolutely.
I doesn't bother me saying, oh, they're 18 or they're 16 or 14. Oh, they can get the door. No, like
You
if I
bet.
was just at the door, I'll hold it for them.
Thanks
Like,
for doing that. I've taught my son the same, and he knows, to hold the door open for the ladies in our family, and hold the door open for anybody else that's coming in any establishment, whether that's a doctor's office
exactly.
or a restaurant or a zoo. We don't care where it is, but yeah, opening doors just opens your heart to that first idea of kindness. So thanks for doing that, Ray. You're the brother from another mother.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that is one of my huge pet peeves when it comes to that. Same with my son. I've told him the same thing. Make sure, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it takes like very little effort to hold the door open if you're right there. So, but again, thank you for your time today, Justin. More than just trucks, and that's definitely what I want to do. Is I love, like I said, I love the foundation and how you've interwoven the kindness campaigns into the driver's seats. Stay, I I know I don't even have to say this, but stay hardworking at what you do. So
You
very
bet.
much appreciated.
Thanks, Ray. Great day.
Yeah. Thanks for your time today.
You bet.